Hello, I'm back with part 2 of the uh, Hard Off Tale. I went back, as I said I would in the last video, to check on the status of the boxed games that they didn't have ready yet. And when I got there, they were just as they were when I left, or just as they had been. They were still in the paper bag waiting to be priced. So I asked the staff if they were going to be ready soon, and they said, "Oh, okay, well, we'll just get them ready for you. It should only take about 5 minutes." And then I said, "Don't put price tags on them because I don't want to have to deal with taking them off later. Is that okay?" And they said, "Sure." So I guess it really depends on who the staff is. I guess that's true with pretty much anything. And also, my last video where I lucked out and got a bunch of boxed Super Famicom games at Hard Off is the April Fool's Haul video, so if you're curious about that. That time I was more fortunate just because they were in such good condition. There were a lot of really good titles. Very few of those games were kind of, horse racing games or whatever, which I normally wouldn't buy. But anyway, I'm rambling, and it's already a minute into this video, so I'll get right into it. Yeah, this time I did alright. There are a few really good ones and a few okay ones, and so here we go. Super Mario World. I don't think I have this in a box. I haven't got around to double checking, but I can always trade stuff. So yeah, and then I've got another boxed copy of Super Mario Kart. All of these, by the way, everything that I'm going to show was 100 yen. Zelda. And you'll notice some of these boxes have a bit of wear, but I mean it's still good just to find the boxes with the manuals and things. This I'm pretty sure I don't have, but I might be wrong. I think I have Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 3, but not 2 in the box, so that's good. And I almost bought this a while back, but I felt like the box was kind of too damaged, so I'm glad I waited. Pretty sure this is the right one. Then do these together. Yu Yu Hakusho 2 and Yu Yu Hakusho Final. And for the Super Famicom, Final Fantasy 4. Japanese Final Fantasy 4, obviously. And Final Fantasy 6. I've just recently taken an interest in playing RPGs in Japanese. That way I get to study and play at the same time, and because of the pacing of the game, it doesn't seem to bother me as much as playing a lot of other kinds of games in Japanese. Sometimes I just find it irritating, but okay, here we have Battle Dodgeball 2. I didn't take all of them. There are a few that I just wasn't interested in, and I already had a copy. They had all the Street Fighters. This is the first Battle Dodgeball. They had all 3 Street Fighter games for Super Famicom, but I already have those all once, if not twice, and I thought I'd leave them there for somebody else to find, because it's always nice to stumble upon box games. I think they just don't last that long, which is understandable. Vortex. The Hard Off I went to is not that big, and they don't usually have that many games, so I imagine when they get in a lot like this, they probably get snatched up pretty fast. A last thing for the Super Famicom is a boxed Super Game Boy, and the box is in really nice condition. And it's interesting, the shape of this box is more like the shape of a box for a North American release for the Super Nintendo. So not the same size as like a VHS or whatever. So then there were some original Nintendo games, or I should say Famicom games. I got Terminator 2. And again, these are all 100 yen. Super Mario Brothers 3. And the original Final Fantasy, the game that saved Square from ultimate demise. So yeah, a really interesting story about Final Fantasy, but I don't feel qualified to be the one to tell it. So if you're interested, look it up, I guess. But basically, you know, it was their kind of their last chance to make it work, and it worked, obviously. Okay, on to some Game Boy games. Metroid Return of Samus. Metroid 2 Return of Samus. As hard as it is to find boxed Super Famicom games, it's even harder to find boxed Game Boy games, especially in decent condition. And admittedly, some of these aren't in the best condition. For example, this next one. This is Batman. It's just trashed. But still, I'd rather have a trash box than no box at all. And I didn't have this game, I'm pretty sure. This is one example of a Japanese game. I don't know how well you can see there. It's released obviously in Japan, but the entire game, including the cutscenes and text, is in English. Which isn't great for me, but I feel kind of bad for those Japanese kids. Another example of such a game is this. Gremlins 2, the new batch. Again, all the story and stuff is in English. Again, it's having trouble focusing, but anyway, that's English, so great for me. Probably the games they figured it's action, it doesn't really matter. Okay, this game is Solomon's Club, which is a sequel to Solomon's Key. It's kind of a puzzle game if you don't know about Solomon's Key or Solomon's Club. That was in really good condition. What else have we got? I basically picked this up. I don't know why. The box is in good shape, and yeah, I don't know. I figured for 100 yen the box is in good shape, and I still haven't given Pokemon a chance. So I can always trade it away to somebody later. What else have we got? Okay, this one, Doraemon, seems to have an interesting variety. You kind of walk around in a maze, sort of an overworld view, and then you go in these doors and they take you to different kinds of levels. But some of those are, as you can see, shooting games, so I'm stoked about that. I haven't been able to find one yet, I just played it a little bit. But man, I will say these old Game Boy games were hard compared to a lot of the games that come out now. Much harder. Yoshi no Tamago, Yoshi's Egg. Puzzle game. And let's see here. Kind of trying to save the best for last a little bit, not too much, because there was nothing truly amazing, although I don't see Final Fantasy like that too often. Okay, again, Yu Yu Hakusho. Man, a lot of these. And box copy of Dr. Mario. And a pretty beat up boxed copy of Super Mario Land. This is the game that I played on my cousin's Game Boy that really made me think that I needed one. So I found a way to get one, even though I had no money. I traded some stuff for it when I was in high school. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. So you can try to make it so you can kind of compare the box art a little bit. There we go. There's the back. And then the last one is, I already have this, but not boxed, a boxed copy of Twinbee-Da. So yeah, I was stoked about that. I can add that to the shelf of shmup. Yeah, good stuff. And for 100 yen, I'm not complaining. It's not a super valuable game, and I might even be able to find it for a similar price online. Not boxed, but I don't know. There's something about finding it in a store. So, wow, 9 minutes? Really? Okay, I'm done. Bye-bye.